So, how do we communicate with children who have autism? We can start by like like let's say a kiddo is running. You don't want to say don't run. You want to be like, let's use our walking feet, because you kind of want to create the picture of the feet that are moving in their head, and you have running feet, you have walking feet, and you want your kiddo to use walking feet, and you want them to imagine walking feet and see walking feet. We have to be aware that children with autism, a lot of they are learning to communicate. So you want to communicate in words that they will be able to understand, say things that they will be able to understand. If they understand what walking is, they know that they have feet, they will be able to understand to use their walking feet. And this is the reason why you would not say don't run, because that's just going to make them run even more. You want to tell them the behavior that you would like for them to have instead. As a person who should have the most instructional control with them, you want to make sure that you're providing instruction and not giving direction, if that makes sense. Like saying, get down. Get down from what, from where, from how. You get what I mean? So instead of saying get down, you can say, let's put our feet on the floor. So no, we can't do that. No, you can't do that. And giving them the option to be like absolutely done with something, which is a punishment procedure. When we don't do those, you would instead give them two choices. Instead of saying stop hitting, you would say hands down, and you would redirect them to another activity to where they can use their hands appropriately. Hands down, we can use our hands to clap, we can use our hands to wave, we can use our hands to paint a picture, we can use our hands to play with Play-Doh, we can use our hands to pat legs, we can use our hands to pull a string, we can use our hands to tug a rope. Instead of saying don't do that, you can say, oh, let's do this instead. And then don't use questions like, do you want to clean up? Your kid's gonna be like, no, I don't want to clean up. Why would I want to do that? And so you want to use statements, like, we're going to clean up now. It's time to clean up. And during that time, you can come up with a fun song. You can turn it into a game. I can clean up faster than you. You can have them to ask you for help to clean, because sometimes maybe your kid is just overwhelmed by the amount of things that they have to clean up, and that's why they are resisting. But if you help them, that will make them want to do it more. Just depending on your kiddo, and this is why parenting is so important, because you get to know like the ins and outs, the do's and don'ts with your kiddos. When we are redirecting our kids, that's the thing. When we redirect, there are different types of behavior. There are different types of redirection strategies. So we have differential reinforcement of alternative behaviors, which or DRA, and that provides reinforcement during a preferred behavior, as opposed to the undesired behavior. So an example of that would be a child is throwing a tantrum and calms down. The BT or RBT will respond, that's calming down, depending on the BSP. This would be an appropriate time to give a choice and have child to work for a reinforcer or a break, depending on whatever is in that BSP. For that specific kiddo, differential reinforcement of other behaviors or DRO, the child will be reinforced as long as the target behavior, the targeted inappropriate behavior does not occur, or if it is given in the absence of a targeted behavior. So DRO, an example of that would be if the kiddo is conducts SIB, and SIB is like when the kid does this, and he does it at a high rate. So when the kid is not doing that, like his hands are by his side. Good job having your hands down by your side. Oh, good job using your hands to play with those letters. Good job keeping your hands in your lap. And you are reinforcing those other behaviors instead of the specific don't hit your head. Instead of saying that, you're giving reinforcement to, and you're giving reinforcement to the other behavior that is occurring instead of the non-preferred behavior. The next one is differential reinforcement of incompatible behaviors, or DRI. The reinforcer is given when another behavior is being used or observed. For example, if a child is going to elope, you can say, sit down. Asking a child to sit down after observing precursors to elopement would alleviate that elopement behavior from happening in most cases, because you're asking your child to sit down. They are not standing up, so they cannot run away. You can say, sit down, push your chair under the table, or scoot up to table, because if they are sitting up under the table, sitting in a chair, they cannot get up and run away. If a client is showing precursors to aggression, whatever those may look like, we say, oh, put our hands in lap or something like that, and you want to kind of address it prior to it happening. Or if the kiddo is already aggressing towards you, you can say, put hands down, put hands in lap, show me clap hands, put hands by your side, or something like that. And that would be an incompatible behavior to the actual behavior that is happening, because they are instead doing the opposite. And because they are engaging in this behavior, they cannot engage in that one. Also, when a kiddo is kind of going in for aggression and you were saying, like, show me clap hands could also be a DRO, differential reinforcement of like other behaviors, just because you're giving them another behavior to do, and they're clapping their hands, and you say, oh yeah, that's clapping your hands, and that would be another behavior that you're doing instead. That's kind of like how that would cross a little bit. Hopefully I'm not confusing you. And then the last one that we're going to talk about is differential reinforcement of lower rates of behavior. This reinforcement is given when the behavior occurs at a lower rate than previously. And an example of this would be like if the client is engaging in SIB at a lower rate than usual, then you could just give praise for them conducting or engaging in SIB at a lower rate.